straight round. And there's the bell to end round number 7. Well, earlier tonight here on Friday Night Fights, actually before we came on the air, Teddy's young charge, Elvir Maricki, returned to the ring against Mike Coker. Maricki in the dark-colored trunks, Coker in the gold. Maricki 24-1, 14 knockouts. Okay, Maricki coming back off that injured hand that he dropped Coker. Referee Mike Ortega would allow Coker to continue, but it was to no avail because Elvir Maricki would move in and finish this thing off at 1:59 of round number 1. Right hand right there, 25-1. So you got a win coming off the injury.
Yes, and not against a guy that was a great guy, but against a guy who's a game guy, a guy who probably was an easy mark, no doubt about it, but there was a reason for it. 6 months of inactivity. In the last fight that Maricki was in, he was on the floor 3 times, and he had hand surgery. So I wanted to bring him back with a guy that he could kind of get his feet wet again.
Well, he did. That's the second time he's beaten him in less than a year. So Maricki gets the win against Mike Coker, who you could make the case for might have to stop being licensed.
No, I would
knock that a lot.
And I'd be the first one to admit that.
All right, round 8 underway for Davarryl Williamson and Robert Wiggins. They take turns hurting each other. Let's take a look at the power punches in this fight, and look how close it is.
Guess what, Bob? Williamson, who I was talking about earlier, a couple of rounds was in limbo, wasn't sure what he needed to do, has found what he needs to do. He's picking that uppercut with the shorter man pretty good. He's standing his ground, and he's getting his punches off before Wiggins can get anything going.
And for the second time in the fight, Wiggins goes down. He was down in round number 3.
5.
He's
6,
down again.
7. Hey, come here, walk to me. Come here. You want to keep going? Let's go. Get him up.
Mike Ortega says you want to keep going. Right hand there from Davarryl Williamson. Goes back to that uppercut.
He's picking that uppercut because you can see Wiggins, the shorter man, goes into that turtle defense. He leans forward a little bit, leaves himself vulnerable to that punch coming from downstairs. Now watch what Williamson is doing. He's just standing his ground right now. He's not pulling back, and he's making sure that he's just keeping Wiggins, the very game Wiggins, defensive. Not giving him himself a chance to catch him going out.
Good round number 8 for Davarryl Williamson.
Wiggins is so game. He's still going to wing at you. He's hurt with that right hand.
Yeah, right behind the ear in the temple area.
Now see that turtle defense? Right now, that turtle defense is being made super. That turtle defense of Wiggins, because when he crosses his arms, you can see Williamson's doing a lot of work.
Davarryl Williamson.
Look at the arms crossed. He can't work when his arms are crossed, Bob. And Williamson is taking advantage of it. He knows he can't work when his arms are crossed because he has to uncross them to punch. Williamson is a smart man here. He stepped up close and he took advantage of that.
Wiggins dropped here in round number 8. Mike Ortega calling a timeout. He's giving Wiggins a point for holding, but as we talked about last week, when you're hurt, you want to hold. It's not like he's holding to stop the action in the fight. He's hurt. He's trying to cover up and hold and stop the offensive of Williamson.
Now watch Williamson read the field, so to speak. When he sees that Wiggins' hands are in conventional position, he's more careful. When he crosses them, he lets them go.
Good round for Williamson. Here's Brian Kenny with news on Costa Zoo.
Yes, indeed, Bob, and it's time for the Miller Lite tale of the tape. Costa Zoo versus James Leha in Melbourne, Australia next week. Zoo, a titleist since 1995, now the Consensus or Ring Magazine champ since he KO'd Zab Judah. Since then, he's defended against Ben Tacky. Hey, last time out, James Leha looked very good against Mickey Ward.
Tale of the tape is brought to you by Miller Lite. Life is best told at a place called Miller Time.
Max, you know, it's amazing. De La Hoya, Mosley, Azuma Nelson, 3 times. Leha, now he wants to fight every tough guy for the whole generation.
Yeah, it's amazing. Leha does really well until they put him in against a guy who's better, younger, and much bigger than him. And that's the case right now with Costa Tszyu, and therefore Tszyu's the big favorite, and he should win.
You figure he should win, but again, he got that win over Mickey Ward. Looks very good.
But Tszyu's going to beat him.
Yes, indeed. All right, there it is. Back to this exciting heavyweight fight right now with Bob and Teddy, guys.
Bottom right-hand corner, you're going to see the damage done by that right hand of Williamson right there. Nice straight right hand landed, and then you see the turtle defense of Wiggins, and Williamson moves those hands.
Teddy, round number 8, a huge round in this fight. 1, because Wiggins went down, and 2, because referee Mike Ortega took a point away from Wiggins for holding. So on my scorecard, I have a 10-7 round for Williamson in a pretty close fight. That's a huge swing. And there are the numbers from round number 8, a round in which Wiggins went down, outlanded 40-8.
Tremendous swing, as you said. And at a late point in the fight, hard to overcome.
I still have a problem with that holding. I mean, when a guy's getting pounded and he's been knocked down and he's getting pounded pretty good, you want to tie your guy up. You want to hold him. You want to stop the punishment. It's not as if you're just stalling and holding and making for a horrible fight. He was using it as a defense mechanism. Teddy's scorecard through 8, 76-74 for Williamson. I have it 77-72 for Williamson, winning the last 3 rounds. And of course, a 3-point edge in the last round.
Of course, Wiggins has been hurt the last round, but he's also a little bit careful, a little tentative now, because his best punches are those long punches. He wants to make sure he's in the right position. He doesn't want to throw them and leave himself open for the best punch of Williamson, the straight right hand.
Here's something to just keep in the back of your head. This is the first time Williamson's passed 5 rounds. And Wiggins does have some late power. Remember, just a little over a year ago, he stopped Eric Kirkland in the 10th round.
And as you said, Wiggins has been 10 rounds in that fight. Been 10 rounds 1 time.
Right, let him out. Let's go.
This is all uncharted territory for Williamson. But the fight being slowed to a pace where Williamson doesn't have to think
Let's go.
about being in the late rounds for the first time. Doesn't have to worry about it. You can see what Wiggins is trying to do. He knows his best shot is to land one of those long punches. And he needs a certain landscape to do that. So he's trying to step forward, force Williamson out of the pocket, force Williamson to back up, where he can create an opportunity to land one of those punches. And you can see what Williamson is doing. Trying to pick his spots, not waste anything.
1 more round to go in a very intriguing heavyweight battle.
Whether you're shopping, traveling for business, or back at school studying, this new year, your family can stay in touch thanks to Verizon Wireless. Get them the America's Choice National Family Share Plan. Now with unlimited night and weekend airtime minutes on up to 4 separate lines, so everyone can share all they want. Plus, hurry and buy 1 Motorola phone for $29.99 and get a second free, so you can have a family get-together whenever you want. Verizon Wireless, we never stop working for you.
Can you hear me now? Good.
These are the tips that we showed early in the fight at the beginning. No wide punches coming in. Well, Wiggins has thrown plenty of them, and he's paid for it. He's been on the floor because of it. Once inside, go to work. He could do a little more of that, but early on, he did good with the uppercut and put the punch where he's going to be. He's scored well when he's punched behind Williamson.
Be right. You hear me? Be right. Let's go.
Williamson, land the right and say goodnight. Well, he landed the right, and he scored a knockdown, but it's not good night yet. Use your height. He tried to do that, but he hasn't always been successful. Make Super the Turtle. He's done that in spots, but he still has a game Wiggins in front of him.
10th and final round underway for Davarryl Williamson and Robert Wiggins. On my card, Wiggins is going to need a knockout to win. He was down twice in this fight, and he had a point deducted in round 8, a round in which he went down, and he had a point deducted for holding.
Wiggins has recovered. There's 2 reasons for it. One, his gameness. And 2, Williamson has played it very safe the last round after that real big 8th round. He's allowed Wiggins to get himself together.
But Wiggins has to make the most of that opportunity.
He's going to take big chances now. That's his style anyway. But he's got to live or die by the sword. And his sword is that. Those long, wide punches. Those long looping punches. Now that can do one of 2 things. It can end the night suddenly for him in a way that he gets caught in between one of those wide shots as Williamson sits there in the pocket trying to catch him as he comes in. Or he could do what he did earlier. Force Williamson